Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode of She Will Empower. I'm your host, Jessica Cherry. I'm a strategic intervention and empowerment coach, an NLP practitioner, a networking and empowerment community director, a certified sound bath practitioner, social media marketing gal, and your Tuesday morning wake up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, where we bring real talk, real tools, and real empowerment straight to the airwaves. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. And if you're listening on the podcast replay, welcome to this space where we talk about mindset and growth, psychology, and real life decisions that shape who we become. This show is for people who are trying to do better in life, the ones building careers, the ones raising kids, the ones caring for aging parents, the ones reinventing themselves. And today, we're going to talk about something that so many people are quietly carrying, and it's burnout. But I'm going to say something that might disrupt the way you've been thinking about it. You're not burned out. You are misaligned. And I know that might hit a nerve for some of you listening, or for many, because I think at one point or another, almost everyone has experienced this, right? Because burnout feels valid because it gives language to the exhaustion, to overwhelm, to the mental load, the feeling like you're burning the candle at both ends, that you are just go, 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 going all day long, and that you have to be not one, not two, but three or five places at the same time. Or you are spinning all the plates in the air on a stick like a circus performer, just doing your thing, and that your aging parents need you, or your spouse, or your kids, or your work, or friends, or commitments, or your home, or dinner time, or extracurricular activities, or after work responsibilities, or all the things together, right? But what if I told you burnout is not the root? It's the symptom. Burnout is the smoke and not the fire. So, what do I mean by all of this? Well, let's go deeper. Most people think burnout comes from doing too much work, too many responsibilities, too many people needing you. The task list is too big, the people depending on you, which can be many. The way life is lifing on you, it's just unsustainable. You feel like a pressure cooker or the teapot on the stove ready to whistle, or everything is just going haywire in your life and you're doing the best you can with what you have, but it's all crazy, right? You sign up for all these commitments and you feel like you're just wash, rinse, and repeat with your life. But you need to hear this clearly. You don't burn out from doing too much. You burn out from doing too much of what is not aligned. Because have you ever noticed you can be busy, really busy? I mean, like just busy, busy, go, go, go. But when it feels meaningful and good and energizing and aligned and in tune with yourself, when you love what you're doing and how your day is going, and you're really vibing with your to-do list, you don't feel drained in the slightest way, like mentally drained and unhappy. You feel tired, yes, physically tired, because hello, we are all humans in a human body, so that part is natural. It would be great. It would be actually really great if we were like the Energizer Bunny or had a battery pack in our backs and then one charger on us and the other plugged in somewhere. That would be amazing. So yes, we feel tired because we don't have that, but you do not feel empty, right? Not resentful, not like you're disappearing inside of your own life, not numb or just wanting the day to be over with. That is the difference. And it's a major difference too. Burnout is not just about output, it's about disconnection from your truth, your needs, your values, your identity. And when you stay disconnected long enough, your body will force you to pay attention. I'll tell you a quick story that may hit home. So earlier this week, I went out with a couple of girlfriends of mine, and there was a moment where we were sitting down at a table outside and the breeze was blowing. We were having a good time, right? It's springtime right now, so the temperature was absolutely perfect. And we were just enjoying each other's company and catching up and talking about, all the girl things about how our life is and how our days are. And one of the girls said, I was so burned out by so many jobs and I kept working and working and I couldn't stop because if I stopped, everything would fall apart. So I just kept at it. And then you know what happened? And we were all like, what? What happened? She said, my body made me stop. And I swear, all the ladies on the table, and when I say all four of us, so picture four ladies all in unison, we went, "Oh," and our heads tilted back at the same time, and we all leaned back in our seats at the same time, and we laughed so hard at that moment because we all knew what she was talking about. We had all been there, and that moment was so important, and I'll tell you why. It was such a funny moment, first of all, because it rings true, right? And these women that I was with at this table, we're all business owners, all successful. Most of us were mothers, and we have a ton of things going on each in our different areas of life. And I can safely say at that table, we were some powerful boss babes at that table. I got to be honest. And to see how that comment from that one woman made all of us have the same exact gesture at the same exact reaction, same exact time. It really spoke to me so much that that is how I chose the topic for today. Because in that table, we all lead different lives. None of us are in the same industry, and some of us have kids and some of us don't. And we all have kids at different ages if we do. And some of us are married, some of us are divorced. But the unilateral experience we all faced was an epic moment in my mind. And it showed me that no matter how we are living our life, it was 100% a shared life experience that we all have pushed ourselves to the point where our body made us stop. So burnout is real. And honestly, I have been feeling a little lately myself. I have been building a new social media and marketing business with a partner, as well as maintaining all of my other businesses too. And it's a lot. So I know it's a struggle physically. Personally, I feel aligned. But yes, again, the body needs rest too. So you either honor it when it calls or it will make you take a seat. So let's talk about our body for a second because it really comes down to it. Because this is where most people get it wrong. They think, why am I so tired? Why can I not just keep up? Why am I so emotional lately? Why do I snap so quickly? Why have all these why questions come up? And why do I keep asking myself this, right? And all along, assuming that something is wrong with us. But what if, and hear me out for a minute here, what if nothing is wrong with you? What if your body is actually doing its job perfectly? So here's the thing. Your nervous system is not designed to sustain life long term that feels unsafe, overwhelming, or inauthentic. It's just not made that way. And this is really, really important to understand and digest. So I'm going to repeat it because I want it to stick in your brain. So your nervous system is not designed to sustain life long term that feels unsafe, overwhelming, or inauthentic. So when you're living out of alignment, your body starts sending you signals. It starts saying, hey, 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 hello, look over here. And it sends us signals that can look like fatigue, irritability, brain fog, anxiety, snapping at the people you love, and wanting to withdraw. And I'm going to talk about one demographic for a second here because it's a double whammy. If you're a woman in midlife, bless you, because we are already dealing with all the things on a daily with perimenopause added to that, right? Perimenopause already naturally gives you all of these symptoms. So add in burnout from not living your true alignment and purpose on top of that, and it gets real, real quick too. So there's my shout out to y'all because it's rough. And to everyone, really, really, here's the thing all these symptoms above, that's not weakness. That's body intelligence. That's your system saying, hey, this isn't right for you anymore. But instead of listening, your body is literally talking to you. Most people push through because that's exactly what we're taught. We are told no grit, no pearl. And in fact, that used to be one of my favorite sayings of all time, and I would use it all the time to mentally keep on pushing through. So they override, they numb, they scroll, they snack, they overwork, they disconnect, they do whatever they have to do to keep on keeping on and keep going. And the signal gets louder. So let's talk about how you got here, because misalignment doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, subtly, like slowly boiling water on the pot set to low. You know what I'm talking about there, right? You turn it on low and it slowly heats up. The heat slowly is building up. Not at first. At first you can test the water and it feels like a little warm, but nothing unmanageable. And then you add a little more heat and then you start to see those tiny little bubbles forming on the rim, but it's still okay. And then it feels like you blink and it's bubbling already, right? Am I right? I know I'm right. I've lived it far too many times. So it's not a curveball, it's drop by drop, by bubble. And it can look like many things. It can look like saying yes when you mean no and taking action anyway, even when you don't want to go, and seeing it through while you're feeling the no, but acting on the yes. Or staying in environments you've outgrown. So naturally, you're going to feel uncomfortable and your body is having all these uneasy emotions because you're in an environment that just isn't for you anyway, right? Or it can feel like continuing roles that no longer fit who you are. So you have the feeling of being stuck and confined, kind of like a ball and chain attached to your ankle, right? That could feel that way. So, side note, you can create resentment with continuing roles that no longer fit who you are. All right. And this may feel like being the strong one, right? I've got to do it because blank. And if you've heard my previous episode, I talk a lot about being the strong one here and what it does to you long term. Or it can look like being the reliable one, the one everyone depends on over and over and over again. And a lot of times, you don't even have a choice in that. If you are the only adult, it naturally goes to you, but it comes with a cost. But regardless of the reason that is, something along the way, you stop checking in on yourself. You let yourself drift away, and you're just the shell that everyone depends on. So you started performing instead of living, instead of being. And here's the hard truth: you can build an entire life that looks successful, but feels completely misaligned. And that is where burnout lives, among a million other things, not in failure, doesn't live in failure, but in false success. And I know a lot of people are probably nodding their heads in a yes motion right now because that hits personal for many of us, right? Because some of us have built something for so long, but it's not us anymore. We've grown out of it and then we're stuck with it. And then we feel misaligned. And so we feel burned out. So let's talk about something right here and dive into that a little more. So let me reflect something back to you. If you're feeling exhausted, no matter how much you rest, easily irritated or emotionally reactive over small or unimportant things, or unmotivated towards things that you used to care about, that you loved, and that gave you life back then, but now you're in a different place and you're indifferent and you're numb about it, or you have disconnected from yourself where you just don't feel like yourself anymore. Kind of like you're going through the motions of day by day and you've lost your spark or your edge, or you're just on autopilot, right? I think a lot of us are on autopilot right now. That is not laziness. That is not lack of discipline. That is misalignment. And here's a big one: if you feel like you've outgrown your current life, but you don't know what comes next, that in between space, that's where people panic because it's uncomfortable. And a lot of people don't like being uncomfortable, right? It's not the comfort zone where everything is nice and cushy and sweet and warm inside. It's uncomfortable as well, uncomfortable, and it doesn't fit right or it doesn't feel right. So we don't wear uncomfort well. but it's also where transformation begins. So let's talk about identity shifts that being uncomfortable brings. Because here's what's really happening with your identity shift: you're not breaking down, you're breaking out. It's like coming out of your cocoon or your shell. You are coming out of old roles and old expectations and old versions of yourself. But the problem is your external life has not caught up yet. It's all in the mind, which of course is where most of it all starts. So now there's a gap between who you have been and who you are becoming. And the gap, that tension, that weirdness, that thing that you can't put your finger on, but it's a weird feeling, that question you ask yourself, what is happening to me? That that's what you're feeling. That's why you're calling it burnout. But actually, it's expansion. So let's talk about expansion. Okay. So, first, what are you actually doing with this? You don't just push through. All right. Don't fall back on that. Instead, you're going to do this: you're going to realign. And realignment starts with honesty. It's really, really important when you enter midlife too, because things that have been working perfectly for you may not be anymore. And that's normal and that's okay. And you don't have to feel bad about it. Things change and time changes. And the only thing that stays the same is that everything changes. There's a couple songs that come to my mind about that, but I won't go into that. So, anyway, what I'm saying here is that you cannot keep the same hamster wheel that you were in 10 years ago. Life keeps evolving and your needs become different. Careers that worked in your 20s may not work in your 30s or 40s or beyond. You know, your body changes. Your mind changes. Relationships change. Your thoughts change. You're going to naturally realign as we become getting older. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in growing and becoming something different and liking new things and even wanting to become someone different. We all know that our bodies are not the same, right? We know that we go through changes, but our emotional, mental, and spiritual needs, those change too. We as a whole human being evolve and grow and change, right? We have seasons of life too as a whole person, and that's okay. So I want you to ask yourself, where am I saying yes when I mean no? And it could be something that you have been saying yes to for a long time and it felt good at the time. But you know what? You've just outgrown it. You don't like it anymore. You don't want to say yes to it anymore. Even though you've been saying yes to it, it doesn't fit you anymore. Or you can ask yourself, where am I over giving? Especially if it is the over giving that is depleting me, right? And this could be volunteering places or it could be just serving too much of yourself where you feel drained after and it's not aligned with you. And you're saying yes and over giving of yourself out of guilt. All right. Or you can ask yourself, where am I shrinking? Shrinking because of others' expectations, of others' confined spaces, or not standing out for whatever reason, and you're having to shrink yourself because of your environment or your situation. And you can also ask yourself, where am I performing instead of naturally being? Oh, that's a good one. I think we all have to perform at some extent in our work environments, right? I mean, we have to be professional and speak to customers or clients. So I think that in itself is a performance. And I always joke and say, they're meeting your representative, but not yourself. And that's okay. That's what professionalism is all about, right? We have a standard that we deliver. But where we are performing in our personal lives that we really shouldn't be, that is what we need to look at. And where does that feel fake when it really shouldn't, right? That's an important one right there. And it could lead to a lot of situations, emotional situations, I mean. And then, whatever your answer is, I want you to shift. Not the big, we're taking earthquake moves here, right? No, this is just a realignment. a next phase in life. So if you start making small, powerful shifts, and these shifts are going to be so that you can realign yourself with what your true purpose is. So essentially, pruning your life, right? We can call it pruning your life or trimming the fat, some people say, or trimming the rose bush, however you want to call it. But you are taking what you don't need anymore out of it, out of your life. So we're getting rid of it, right? Not your whole life overnight. Don't go crazy with those shears. Just one aligned decision at a time. And by taking out what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. Whether it's peace or rest, whatever it is that you need. Because alignment isn't a one time thing, it's a practice. Alignment is a lifestyle, it's something that you choose every day. And it's time you're choosing yourself and choose yourself over and over again to where your actions in your daily life are not causing burnout, they're causing happiness and fulfillment. So if you've been sitting here thinking, I'm just burned out, I'm burning the candle at both ends, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I'm just a shell of myself. I'm on autopilot. My life is too hectic. I have too much on my plate, and I don't even like what's on my plate. I want you to consider this new truth because you're not burned out. You've outgrown something, or maybe some things, plural, right? Some things in your life, and your body is asking you to listen. And take my word from it and others that have been in this place. Listen to your body when it whispers to you. Because if you listen to it when it's screaming, it will 100 times be harder to deal with. And I'm taking my own advice this year too, because I have been the person everyone depends on, and I have not taken the best care of myself because anytime I took off from work or anything, it was to take care of someone else or work or whatever the case may be. It wasn't me. So I've been there and I'm living it right here with you. It's real life. And so the goal here is to not push harder. As much as some go getters want to, because everyone expects you to, some people just expect others to be the ones that make the ends meet and they are stable. And the ones that don't bend, I'm talking to the ones that bend and are feeling burnout because that creates burnout too and resentment. And so don't push harder when you feel yourself burning out and your body talking to you. Please do not do more, but come back to yourself. And that coming back to yourself and aligning yourself to your core and your truth, that is where your power is. And if this episode hit for you, share it. Send it to someone who needs it. Because a lot of times people don't share how they truly feel. But even though they don't, they need the support too. And if you want to go deeper, this is exactly the work we do inside the Rewire experience because you don't need another strategy. You need a shift. My name is Jessica Cherry, and this is She Will Empower, your space for truth, tools, and real transformation. No fluff or bypassing, just the work that actually changes things. You can catch brand new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower, and I'll be right there waiting for you. And if you're an early riser or trying to become one, come hang out with me every Tuesday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio. It's cozy, it's fun, it's full of great music and real conversations. And honestly, it's one of the best ways to start your morning feeling grounded, connected, and a little more alive. Now, if you're here in Central Texas and your nervous system feels fried, overwhelmed, or like you've been running on fumes for way too long, I'd love to see you in person at Lone Star Sound Baths. Just search Lone Star Sound Baths on social media and you'll find me. I guide immersive sound bath experiences designed to help you soften, settle, and truly reset your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's one of the most healing offerings I provide, and serving our community in this way is something I deeply love. And you can also connect with me through Ladies Lifestyle Network Hayes County, where I host monthly empowerment and networking events all across the Hill Country. These gatherings feature powerful speakers, local nonprofits, incredible women owned businesses, and some truly beautiful venues. Women come to these rooms to grow, to be seen, and to rise together. And I've watched lifelong friendships and game changing business connections form right before my eyes in these rooms. And if you want a more personal look behind the scenes, motherhood, entrepreneurship, healing, and real life as it unfolds, you can find me over on social media at Life of a Cherry Wife. And if you ever need help with social media and marketing, you can find me on Howdy Social. Thank you, truly, for being here today. Thank you for showing up, for doing the work, and for choosing growth, even when it stretches you. And before you go, I want you to do one small thing for your future self, even something tiny, because tiny moves add up. Tiny choices in your life compound. And sometimes that one small decision becomes a moment that changes everything. Tiny moves create big impact. And that big impact would be the confidence boost you need today. So stay powerful, stay grounded, stay connected, and have the most beautiful day and week. I'll see you next time. Bye.